So I want to learn all about how you ended up back at the White House as the first presidential diarist. If you're just tuning in, we're talking to Janis Kearney. She was born in Gould, Arkansas. She graduated from Fayetteville with a master's in public relations and a B.A. in journalism. She ran a successful newspaper in Little Rock. She's a part of the Clinton campaign, has moved to Washington in the transition team. She's now working for the SBA. And all of a sudden she gets a game changer, and she's now invited to become the first presidential diarist in U.S. history. Tell us how that came to be.
Okay. When I learned about his interest in hiring someone to become the presidential diarist, I was working at the U.S. Small Business Administration, and Nancy Hernreich, I don't know whether you know Nancy.
I know Nancy.
But Nancy called and asked, would I like to interview for that job? And I said yes. And so we went back and forth. I interviewed with it, and she gave me things that I needed to look over and ask her questions about and all of that. And of course, many people were interviewing at the same time. So I didn't think I probably would get it, but she called me in December, I think, of 1994 and told me that I had the job.
So when did you interview?
I interviewed in the fall,
so
a little bit of the fall and the winter. So it took
a couple of months?
Yeah, it took several months before.
So you probably thought, I didn't get the job.
Yeah, I really did.
Did you have to come back for a second interview?
Yeah, I did at least 2. I maybe did 3. Because there were lots of people.
They were serious.
Yes.
So you found out, you run home, you jump up and down, you're all excited, and then you report to work. What's your first day like?
My first day was just kind of learning, little things about where I'd be sitting. I sat down. I sat like 3 doors down from the president's office.
So you're in the West Wing.
I was in the West Wing. I spent a lot of time talking to Nancy because nobody had ever held this job. So we had to kind of create what my role would be from day to day. So we spent we may have spent about a week or so going over that and figuring it out. And how would I, talk to the president or find out what the president was doing and all of that. So it took a little while.
Because now, there's a difference between being a governor and a president.
Oh, yeah.
He was very approachable as a governor, but when he became president, everything changed.
Yes, it was different. Definitely. Secret Service everywhere. And, you couldn't just go up and talk to the president whenever you wanted to, even though you worked in the White House. It just wasn't happening.
Okay, so now you figured out what you're going to do. What is that? You're going to show up every day. Did you always work in the West Wing, or did you go to the East Wing when he was brushing his teeth and go, he brushed his teeth at 8:00 this morning. He got the newspaper at 6:00.
No, all of my work was either in the West Wing or when there was something official going on somewhere else. East Wing, OEOB, if he went to another agency and did something.
So you were part of the entourage?
I was most of the time, but I didn't have to be because there were times when he traveled to other countries that I did not go.
Oh, you didn't?
No, there were times. So what happened during those times there were people that worked with him. There was one young man named Chris Inskov who was his body person. He was there wherever the president went, and he gathered all of the information that the president gathered when he traveled. Chris was part of our team, our group. So he would come back and he would sit down and share everything with me that I was not there to witness or see for myself. So I would sit down. When I'm not traveling with him, I would catch up on my diary because the diary might be 40 pages long from one day to the next based on what President Clinton was doing.
Really?
Yeah. So when he was traveling and I was not with him, I would spend that time catching up on
transcribing.
Transcribing everything because I could not use a tape recorder.
Why? Because
tapes. No.
Yeah.
So I wrote everything longhand, and I would have to come back and transfer that to my computer, which was dedicated just to my diary.
Wow. Why do you think you got that job?
Well, he knew me, and he knew that I was a writer, and I think that was a big part of it. He knew my family very well.
He did?
Oh, yeah. He worked with several of my brothers. Oh. But the thing was that he had to feel comfortable. Whoever that was, it had to be somebody that he felt comfortable with.
Well, this is radio, so people can't see that you have a lovely demeanor. Oh. I can see why he would feel comfortable with you. And you're, like you said, you're kind of an introvert, so you're not trying to steal the show from me. Like I'd have been stealing the show. I'd been talking over the president or something, they'd have been like, shut that girl up over there.
But yeah, I think that was important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I could be the fly on the wall. I think one reporter called me the White House fly on the wall. I could go to meetings and sit at the back of the room and just take notes and not, try to make anyone pay any attention to me.
I didn't know the president had a almost like a valet that follows him everywhere around.
Right. And we actually called him Butt Boy.
Butt Boy. What a nice name. And I've never heard Butt Boy's name before. What'd you say his name was?
Well, there were several during the White House, but the one that we worked with the longest was Chris Inskoff, who is from Northwest Arkansas. Yeah. He's
a young man, I guess, with no family.
At the time, no, he didn't. He didn't. Because you have to devote 24/7 to the White House.
Yeah, I would imagine.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out the full interview on the right side of the screen. Want to see more of Kerry's interviews? Subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date with all of her latest shows. And as always, thank you for watching.